It is official now. Mike LaFleur is no longer the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. And somebody had to take the brunt of everything that happened this season. The offense couldn't score in the last 6 games. The Jets lost 6 games in a row at the end of the season. They couldn't put up any numbers. They wanted to blame Zach Wilson. The fans, everybody wanted to blame Zach Wilson, but it was the inept offensive play calling by Mike LaFleur. I've been saying that for the last year and a half. At the end of the season last year, I thought the Jets should have parted ways with Mike LaFleur, and they decided to keep him for another year. The Jets offense started pretty strong the first 5 games of the season. It looked like that Breece Hall was giving them a lot of offense, and you could tell that Mike LaFleur didn't trust in Zach Wilson and really what his strengths and weaknesses were on the field. He decided to run. Breece Hall got hurt, and this offense became inept very, very quickly. You look at Mike LaFleur now, throughout the last couple of weeks, it really answered a lot of questions on what he was as an offensive play caller. Now, I don't know if he would have worked somewhere else. I don't know if he had a veteran quarterback. This offense could have moved a little bit better and more fluent. But what we saw this year was Mike White, where everybody praised him, just like last year when he played and he put up those numbers against the Bengals. And then after that was completely inept. And then this year, coming in against Chicago, putting up great numbers, and then became absolutely inept. He broke his ribs. He was out. He came back. And then you've seen what Mike White was. Now, it has a lot to do with the offensive play calling. It does. Now, they're not going to push Zach Wilson out, because if they push Zach Wilson out, it makes the Jets look bad, because they're the ones that drafted him in the first round at the second pick, right behind Trevor Lawrence. And it shows everybody that they failed. They didn't pick the right guy. They didn't pick the future quarterback for this franchise. So they had to put it on somebody else. And Mike LaFleur, as much as it's not all Mike LaFleur's fault, especially the defense. The defense fell apart the last 3 games of the season, maybe because they were tired. The offense couldn't really put up the numbers that they wanted to put up. The Seattle Seahawks, which was one of the worst-rated defenses in the NFL, I think they were ranked 28th all around.
25th against the run.
25th against the run. The Jets couldn't run the ball. They can throw a ball in Seattle, and it really showed where the Jets were offensively and what Mike LaFleur was as a play caller. And again, going into the offseason, and you heard Robert Saleh say, when the press was asking him, and I don't remember who in the press asked him, is Mike LaFleur going to be back next year? And Robert Saleh says, I have no answer to that. We will move forward going into the offseason, and we'll make our decisions as a group. And probably within 72 hours, a little bit over 100 hours, you're hearing Mike LaFleur is the Jets are parting ways with Mike LaFleur, and it was a mutual agreement. Now, Mike LaFleur will probably go back to the 49ers, or probably go work for his brother with Green Bay. I don't know where he's going, but the Jets needed to find somebody to blame, especially offensively, because they had a breakout offensive player like Garrett Wilson, who had over 1,000 yards. No Jet wide receivers ever had that in a single year for a wide receiver, as a rookie wide receiver. They have that guy now. Elijah Moore really didn't touch the ball until Game 6 of the season.
He had 4 good games this year, pretty much.
A guy who has an amazing ability, putting him in the slot, putting him on the outside, who can catch the ball and do a lot of things offensively. Denzel Mims figured things out, but I don't think it had anything to do with Mike LaFleur or the offense. It was just because Corey Davis was hurt and there was a lot of injuries. They had to throw him in there, and he showed that he can go up there and do the things that they thought he was going to do when they drafted him in the second round. I think it was from Baylor. But this offense was inept. The offensive line was horrible. They couldn't run the ball after Breece Hall got hurt. And you could see that they depended too much on the run. They didn't trust in the arm of Zach Wilson. They didn't trust in Zach Wilson's ability to move outside of the pocket and make plays. And when you see the strengths and the weaknesses of quarterbacks, and we've seen this over, look at Daniel Jones. Look what the Giants did with Daniel Jones this year. Dable took over. He was a rookie coach. I always believed that Dable was the he's the elite when it comes to quarterback whisperers.